Ultimately, protein is the most important macronutrient in your diet. In this short video, we'll outline the current protein recommendations for 3 different circumstances. The average person looking to promote healthy aging and weight management, a resistance-trained athlete who wants to maximize muscle growth during a caloric surplus, and a resistance-trained athlete looking to maintain muscle mass in a caloric deficit. The current RDA, or recommended dietary allowance, for protein is 0.8 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. This recommendation represents a safe threshold to assume that, under normal circumstances, it's enough to keep your body functioning properly and to maintain normal protein turnover. However, optimizing protein intake for different situations doesn't fall under normal circumstances, and as a result, the RDA might not be sufficient. For the average person, additional protein intake firstly serves to improve appetite control, satiety, and weight management. The majority of it comes down to the prolonged lack of hunger following a protein-rich meal and the additional energy cost to process protein. Secondly, protein also serves to improve muscle mass retention. Even without resistance training, it still simulates a process called muscle protein synthesis, which is the main driver for building or maintaining muscle mass. This is particularly relevant for healthy aging, since we naturally lose our muscle mass as we become older, and muscle strength is essential for functional capabilities. Taking all this into account, the current recommendations support a protein consumption between 1.2 and 1.6 gram per kilogram of body weight per day for this particular situation. Let's move on to resistance-trained athletes. For those in a caloric surplus, the main goal is building muscle mass. This relies heavily on the combination of resistance training and protein consumption, which synergistically enhance muscle protein synthesis. The current consensus suggests that approximately 1.6 grams per kilogram of body weight per day is optimal, which is twice the recommended dietary allowance. You can eat more than that, but the surplus likely won't contribute to gains in muscle mass. The situation is slightly less straightforward when resistance-trained athletes are in a caloric deficit. The main goal here is not to build muscle mass, but to maintain what you have while gradually losing fat tissue. Optimal muscle mass retention appears to be possible with a protein consumption between 1.6 and 2.4 grams per kilogram of body weight per day. To determine where in this range you need to be, you need to take several things into account. First of all, the larger your caloric deficit, the higher your protein intake will need to be. Second, leaner individuals need to consume more protein than those with a higher body fat percentage. And third, if the bulk of your workouts consist of resistance training, you'll need less protein compared to those who primarily perform cardiovascular workouts. The main takeaway here is that the recommended dietary allowance is likely not enough for most people to achieve their goals. Increasing your protein intake may be an important first step towards improving your health, and I highly recommend monitoring your protein intake at least a couple of times, just to see whether you have room for improvement. If you have any questions, let me know in the comment section and I'll get back to you as soon as I can. See you in the next one.